Welcome back to Roots and Roasts, where expert plant care meets proven growing methods. This is episode 7 in our Growing Methods series. And if you've ever looked at a tight patio, office corner, or small apartment balcony and thought, I can't grow here, think again. Container gardening flips that idea on its head. It's not just about fitting plants into small spaces. It's about creating portable, flexible, living systems that move with the light, suit your style, and feed your soul. I've tested these setups from New York rooftops to shaded brownstone steps. And today I'm going to show you how to master it for food, foliage, or floral beauty, no matter where you live or how much space you have. Container gardening is exactly what it sounds like, growing plants in individual containers instead of planting them directly into the ground. But don't let the simplicity fool you. This method gives precision control over soil, drainage, sunlight, and water, turning even the smallest corner into a thriving microgarden. Whether you're placing pots on a windowsill, lining a balcony with vertical planters, or growing food on a rooftop, container gardening makes it possible to create lush environments without needing land. And here's the secret most beginners miss. When done right, a container-grown tomato or basil plant can outperform one grown in the ground because you control everything. Choosing the right container isn't just about aesthetics. It's about root health, water control, and long-term performance. The wrong container can suffocate roots, cause water stagnation, or even stunt your plants completely. Here's what you need to know. Material matters. Terracotta or clay pots breathe. They allow moisture to evaporate through the sides, which is great for plants prone to overwatering like succulents or herbs. But they dry out faster, so they're not ideal for hot or windy spots unless you're attentive. Plastic pots retain moisture longer and are lightweight, perfect for people moving containers around or working indoors. Fabric grow bags are a game changer. They offer superior aeration and air prune the roots, which means your plants develop a dense, fibrous root system instead of becoming root-bound. Ceramic pots are beautiful and durable, but often lack drainage, so always drill holes or add a layer of gravel. Next, size is critical. Each plant has a root volume that supports its top growth. A basil plant can thrive in a 6-inch pot, but tomatoes? They need at least 5 gallons, ideally more, or you'll end up with fruit drop, nutrient deficiencies, or a stressed-out plant that can't keep up with its own growth. Drainage holes are non-negotiable. If your container holds water like a bathtub, you're setting yourself up for root rot. Water must drain, and that's not optional. And finally, color. Dark pots absorb heat. In full sun, that can overcook roots. Light-colored containers reflect heat and keep the root zone cooler. It matters more than people think, especially on balconies or blacktop patios. When it comes to containers, you can't just dig up backyard dirt and expect great results. Why? Because native soil compacts, holds too much water, and suffocates roots in a pot. What you need is a custom blend, one that drains, breathes, and feeds. Let's break it down. Start with a base. You want a lightweight, well-draining potting mix, not garden soil. Look for bags labeled container mix or potting mix, not topsoil. A good base should include cocoa coir or peat moss for moisture retention, perlite or pumice for drainage and airflow, sometimes even composted bark to give it structure and aeration. Add organic matter for fertility. Worm castings are my go-to. They're gentle, natural, and packed with microbial life that helps your plant uptake nutrients. A little compost, well-rotted, also adds nutrients, but don't overdo it in containers, or you risk making the mix too dense. Customize based on the plant. Growing succulents or Mediterranean herbs? Add extra perlite or sand for sharper drainage. Growing tomatoes, peppers, or leafy greens? Boost with worm castings and even a slow-release organic fertilizer. This is the mix I've used on everything from NYC patios to tropical balconies in Honduras. It drains fast, holds moisture like a wrung-out sponge, and feeds your plant without the guesswork. Let's get this clear. In container gardening, overwatering is the #1 killer, but underwatering and poor drainage coming close behind. The key is not how much you water, but how your container handles it. First, drainage holes are non-negotiable. Every pot, from terracotta to ceramic to plastic, must have holes, ideally several. Otherwise, water pools at the bottom and causes root rot, even if the top looks dry. If your favorite decorative container doesn't have holes, use it as a cache pot, meaning place a plastic nursery pot inside it so excess water can escape. No shame in style and function. Next, water slowly and deeply. Flooding from above too fast? You risk compacting the mix or letting water slide right down the sides, known as channeling. Instead, pour slowly in 2 stages. Let the first pass saturate the top, then circle back to ensure full root penetration. You want to see water start to drain out the bottom. This is called watering to runoff. It's your plant telling you, I've had enough, you can stop. How often you water depends on 3 things. Sunlight. More sun equals faster drying. Wind and airflow. Breezes dry out containers quickly. Container size and material. Small plastic pots dry fast. Large ceramic ones retain more. Instead of watering on a fixed schedule, water on feel. Lift the pot. If it feels light and the top 2 inches are dry, it's time. If it still feels heavy and the soil is cool and damp, wait. When it comes to container gardening, light is everything. And if you get it wrong, no amount of watering, fertilizing, or pruning will save your plants. You're not just choosing plants, you're matching them to your microclimate. First, understand your light zones. Not every balcony, fire escape, or windowsill is created equal. Here's the breakdown. Full sun equals 6+ hours of direct sunlight. Part sun equals 3 to 6 hours of direct sunlight. Bright indirect equals no direct sun, but bright ambient light all day. Shade equals little to no direct or indirect light. If your space doesn't offer full sun, don't fight it. Grow what fits. You can always supplement with grow lights indoors, but choosing the right plant for the right light, that's where mastery begins. Now, this is where container gardening becomes less about planting and more about craftsmanship. These tips come from decades of real-world growing, rooftop trials, fire escape experiments, and office plant rescues. And if you dial these in, your container setup will outperform most backyard beds. Let's go. Now, this is where container gardening becomes less about planting and more about craftsmanship. These tips come from decades of real-world growing, rooftop trials, fire escape experiments, and office plant rescues. And if you dial these in, your container setup will outperform most backyard beds. Let's go. Container roots demand drainage plus structure. You need something that holds moisture but drains fast. Use a mix of coconut coir or peat moss for moisture, perlite or pumice for drainage, worm castings for fertility. Optional, biochar or compost for microbe activity. Most failures in container gardening? Water. Either too much or too little, and both are lethal. Finger test every morning. Dry 1 to 2 inch down equals water. Water until you see drainage. Avoid soggy trays. Use pot feet or risers. In summer, water early morning or early evening, never midday, in full sun. Because nutrients leach out faster, feeding isn't optional. It's part of your weekly rhythm. Use liquid fertilizer every 7 to 10 days. Add slow-release pellets at planting. Use compost tea or kelp extract monthly for vitality. For fruiting plants, alternate CalMag to prevent blossom end rot. Old containers harbor pests, fungi, and salt buildup. Before reusing, scrub with vinegar or hydrogen peroxide. Rinse well, dry in sun. For Faber pots, wash on cold, air dry. Container gardening proves that you don't need acres, just intention. Whether you're filling a fire escape with flavor or turning an office ledge into a tropical corner, containers make growing possible anywhere. You've now got the tools, techniques, and pro tips to make your containers not only survive, but thrive year-round. If this episode gave you clarity, confidence, or even a few aha moments, hit that subscribe button and stay growing with us. And if you're ready to take it one step further, episode 8 drops next. And it's the finale of the Roots and Roasts Growing Method series. We're going back to the ground, into raised bed gardening. Whether you've got a backyard, a rooftop, or a school garden, we'll show you how to build, fill, and grow in raised beds like a pro. Get exclusive downloads, soil mix blueprints, and bonus guides when you sign up for our growers newsletter. Or just email us at hello@focus-newyork.com. And remember, your best garden starts with what's right in front of you.